Welcome to the Den of Tools.
Howdy ho, guys and gals, it's Red, your friendly neighborhood tool bear, back again here in the old Den of Tools, and today we are here to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly over at, ye old Harbor Freight. Yeah, we're going to put them in the spotlight and see how they stand up to it. So Harbor Freight for a long time was the place you went to for cheap tools. And if it lasted the whole job, great. If it lasted past the job you had for it, well, that was considered a win. Well, now they've added a whole line of several lines of what they call, before we had, they call it good, better, best. I don't know if what we called before was good, but we definitely have a better and best lines. We've got stuff like Bauer, Icon, Vulcan, and the Predator generators, which have just become a new standard in like camping and outdoor activities and stuff. I see these replacing Hondas left, right, and center. This is becoming that everyone's getting these. They're just that good. And, it's great to see Harbor Freight upping their game. But the other good thing is they haven't abandoned the cheap tool lines. We still got nylon spring clamps, flush cutters, quick release clamp bars. These are all standards that we've recommended for a long time. In fact, this channel got started by trying to help people find those diamond in the rough tools over at Harbor Freight that were not just worth the money, but worth a lot more. Stuff that would last you a good long time. These bar clamps are a huge, standard for woodworkers and welders and all sorts of people use these things. They're fantastic. Now, as far as, yes, and they still even have the tarps, and they even have better tarps now. So you can't say anything negative about that. Now, they came out with the new Icon cabinets, which are fantastic. They're great cabinets. But, as I say, they're pretty much overkill. I think, honestly, the real win over there is the U.S. General boxes. Now, not only do we have them now in all the Skittles-like colors, we have tons of great new options, including we finally got the 72-inch triple bank top chests. That's on fantastic. These things are probably, I want to say probably, they are. I've looked at all this stuff. They're the best bang for the buck out there. You got pros using these, home gamers using these things. They are tanks. Now, would I like to see maybe an updated version of them? Maybe add a power drawer, maybe a kind of, how about a hutch? We'd love to see a hutch. That's fine, but that's all on the wish list kind of stuff. If you look at these things are fantastic, and you get so much for the money. And what the real killer, of course, is the old 5-drawer tool carts. These things, everyone loves those things. Anyway, that's the U.S. General is one of those kind of just solid gold nuggets there over at Harbor Freight. Now, how about this? This is one I know it can be kind of controversial for some of you, but I gotta tell you, I love it. Death to coupons. I hate clipping coupons. The missus love it. That's her thing. I don't want to have to go around with my scissors and plan out my shopping thing. I want to go, I'm a guy. I go, I get what I need. I want to get the savings I want, and I don't want to have the hassles of like, did I clip the coupon? Did I leave it in the car? Is it with me? Did it stick to something else in my wallet or something? I love not having to have coupons. And the instant savings, remember, I've been tracking this stuff for some times. The instant savings stuff that's replaced the monthly coupons, there's just as many, if not more. We're looking at 94 items this month, 94 items. And some of the sales are fantastic. Look at this, the McGraw for $164. I know a lot of you like to whine and complain, oh, prices went up. Prices are going up everywhere. But the fact of the matter is that the savings we're getting with the instant savings are on par, or in many cases better than what we saw with the coupons. Now, we do still have some specialty coupons that come out, stuff like this one, the 30% off of $10 items and more. We'd seen this before, but then they added on top of that, they didn't take away, they added that if you join the Inside Track Club, you got it for 30% off of all items, not 5 or more, all items for $20 and under. Now, I'll be honest, I heard from a lot of y'all saying that you went in and got way more than 5 items that they just didn't really care, but that's not guaranteed. Some of them, the stores, they do follow the rules. But at this, if you're Inside Track, that's a huge deal there. And on top of that, they added even more and better savings to the Inside Track Club to really make it worthwhile. We got the Daytona 4-ton jack there for $164. They got some great deals in here. Now, I gotta say, the other great thing is I'm glad to see this old cheesy marketing go. I'm sorry, it's not the 70s. All right, and telling me that they're like, everything must go, we're clearing out, I'm gone crazy. I'm so tired of that. And the old coupons, The old coupons were kind of a joke. And now we get better free items. Like we get the free buckets. We got the free Luminar outdoor lamp. That thing is astounding. Don't look directly at it. It'll hurt you. We got free batteries, but not the cheap yellow ones. We got the top of the line Edge. These are good batteries. They're honestly decent, quality kind of batteries. And with any purchase now, you get them, a free one if you are inside track. Now, how about this? A free folding table when you buy one of the U.S. General Tool carts. That's a $30 value. You were going to buy it anyway. Come on, let's be honest. That's fantastic. I love seeing this upgraded value. Yes, I mean, getting the old free stuff has gone away, but I would much rather get a $30 value than a $2 value. All right, now we got to talk about, besides the products, we got to talk about the store itself and what's going on. This is their picture outside their headquarters. You can't really see it, but in the background you can see they're the 1,000, because this is them celebrating 1,000 stores. This is great. If you love Harbor Freight, more stores is only more better as far as I'm concerned. That means you can easily find a Harbor Freight near you. Hopefully speaking, I think they're at over 1,100 stores now. And the big takeaway from this is this: more stores, more jobs. That means they're hiring more Americans. I don't know if you know this, but Harbor Freight is up to employing over 20,000 Americans currently in good paying jobs, full-time, part-time, flex time, all that kind of stuff. Just to put it in perspective, Stanley Black & Decker, a company that is 4 times larger than Harbor Freight, that is the largest tool company in the world that's based here in the United States, employs 17,000 people. And not only do they have lots of jobs, their people there are pretty happy about it here. We can see 70% would recommend to a friend, 84% approve of the CEO. That's astounding when it comes to big business. Just to give you some perspective, the TTI, the American branch of TTI, 57% approve of the CEO. Only 56 people would recommend it. One of the comments here is, it feels as though you're a Home Depot rep. Expect to work long hours, including weekends, holidays, with no bonus pay. Just in case you didn't know here, Joseph Galilee, a junior there, he's now the CEO at TTI here in the U.S. He was previously the CEO of Newell Brands. That's Rubbermaid. That's the same people who bought vice grips and then shipped the manufacturing overseas. So yeah, he's not well loved. Anyway, Harbor Freight also does a lot to give back to the community. They have all sorts of programs for education, veterans, police, and fire. They also do a lot to support education in schools with tools. They give money to the teachers. They give money to the schools to help promote it. They get involved in community activities. I guess they're breaking ground here. She's got a donut. Tough job there. Anyway, disaster relief. They do a lot and they give a lot. There's a lot of corporate giving. In fact, if you've got a nonprofit, they have a thing here. You can request a donation, go through their process, and they might support your cause as well. All right, another thing we got to talk about is the extended service plan. Now, I often recommend not buying extended service plans on many items, but sometimes if it's an important item, you might want to get it. And I'll say the one thing about the extended plan with Harbor Freight is you don't get any grief over this kind of stuff. We've got I've used it on some items. We're currently, I think the biggest item we bought was the 9,000 generator there, and we got the 2-year extended plan on it because when you need it, you need it, and if there's a problem, you got to get it fixed in an emergency. It's great that it's there. I know a lot of people complain that, it only comes with a 90-day warranty. Most items, if they're going to break within 90 days is what I've found. Other than that, they'll last you a good long time. But with some items, having that ESP there, that gives you a little bit of peace of mind. All right, the credit card. Now, I know a lot of people are going to not like this choice, but I got to tell you what, if you are smart with your credit and you know how to hack savings and stuff, this credit card is a great option. 10% off your first purchase, 5% on everything back after that. If you pay it off in the same month when you buy it, there's no interest, or you could use it does offer 0 interest on purchases if you do want to do that. But again, we don't recommend people getting into lots of credit card debt. But I use credit cards every month. I carry cash for when I have to. But, I track, this is a business. We track business expenses. Like credit cards make that easy. And we just pay it off at the end of the month. We get cash back on it. That's how you increase your savings. All right, this was a big one for Harbor Freight. Last year, they announced their upgraded Harbor Freight parts department. For the longest time, they had very few, if any, parts, and they've now made a significant commitment to carry far more parts here. Right now, you do have to call the 800 number and talk to somebody to order the parts. They're talking about that they hope to, at some point in the near future, have an online version of that where you can just go and order the parts. But they're brands with supported replacement parts. Here's all the brands they have where they're carrying parts and many more. It's great to see them address this, because when I first started talking to them a couple years ago, that was one of the first things I said, which is, hey, guys, people are really, upset that you don't have parts available for a lot of this stuff. All right, how about this? The one reason that actually got me started at shopping at Harbor Freight years and years and years ago was the return policy. You order something online, you can return it in store, you can return it by mail. If you buy anything in the store, especially the stuff with the lifetime warranty, the hand tools, stuff like that, oh my gosh, this was, I was tried and true Craftsman fan bearer from when I was a cub. And then Craftsman, Sears, well, we know what happened to Sears. And they started playing games and not being that kind of store that really took care of the customer or stood behind their warranty. And then a friend of mine told me about Harbor Freight, and I was sold. Being able to walk in, slap a tool down, and having them just go, yep, just grab another one off the rack, you're good. That to me, that's what makes me a happy bear. And I think the Harbor Freight, return policy is, and the customer service is one of the number one reasons why a lot of us shop there. And speaking of that, the reason you can have a culture like that, the reason you can do things like that, is because the CEO, Eric Schmidt, he owns the company. There's no stockholders. They don't have to worry about quarterly earnings reports and what Wall Street thinks of them. They are a privately owned company, and privately owned companies can take the longer picture, the longer view on things. They don't have to sit there and scramble every quarter for those earning reports in the same way that companies like Snap-on or Stanley Black & Decker or TTI have to. And that allows them to be more adaptive to the tool audience around them. All right, that's the good. And there was a lot of good there. But let's get to some of the bad, shall we? All right, let's be honest. You can't say Harbor Freight and not think about that certain scent that wafts through the store when you walk in. Now, I got to be honest, the newer stores, the bigger stores, they got better HVAC, and it's not nearly as much of a problem. But if you shopped at some of those smaller stores back in the day, boy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's, the wife wouldn't even go into them. The bigger stores, she doesn't mind going in there. But the smaller stores where it's all compact and it has an older, venting system there, oh, that off-gassing smell, it's something special, isn't it? All right, and you know what? We talked about the good, cheap tools, but there were lots and lots of bad tools, lots of things you wanted to avoid, lots of just terrible products. Things that, they look like a great idea. And man, look at that price. I got to give this a try. And nope, just nope. Here's one of the clues when shopping at Harbor Freight. If it doesn't have 4+ stars, you probably want to avoid it, okay? What you do is you come over here, you hover your little mouse over the star thing, and look at that. If you see that fish hook there, see, we're talking about the 5 stars, then it goes down to 4, then down 3, then down 2, and then sweeps back up on 1. That's what we call the review fish hook. We come over, look at that. There's a fish hook on that one. I bet we're going to see one on this one. And, yep, look at that hook. Oh, that's a nasty hook. So if you see the fish hook, don't get hooked. Avoid that one and move on to the next item. All right. Now this is another mixed bag kind of thing, and that is all the battery platforms. Harbor Freight now has got a slew of battery platforms. Besides, we got the Atlas, we got the Bauer, we got the Hercules. They got a bunch of other ones on top of that. And I know, how do I say this? Okay, so part of me wants to say, wow, they should have had all one tool line for everything in the store. But at the same time, I have to be fair. TTI's got like 7 or more different tool batteries. I mean, think about it. They've got Milwaukee and Rigid and Ryobi and and Hart and a bunch of other ones. And then you go over to Stanley Black and Decker, and I counted, I think there were 11 different battery platforms. 11. There, Porter Cable, Craftsman, you got to include all the brands. You got to be, fair about this. In this case, Harbor Freight is the manufacturer of all these lines, or at least the guy paying for other people to build it for him. They had the option. They could have told these manufacturers that they had to abide by these different specs. I'm sure there was a business reason behind it. It may have been selling more batteries. But the fact of the matter is, I think they missed the boat. They had an opportunity to set a new bar in the industry, and they didn't take it. All right, next up is shipping. This is the thing with Harbor Freight. If you can get to a store, and now that there's over 1,100 stores, it's way easier to get to a store, but not everyone can get to a store. Not everyone wants to drive down to the store. There's stuff I need right now from Harbor Freight, and yeah, it's a 15-minute drive to a store, but I'm busy, I don't have time, and I don't really need it right this second. If I could order it, have it shipped to home, the same way I do with stuff from Amazon, which is like 2-day free shipping, I would do it. Their flat rate shipping on basic items that aren't overweight is $7. And then if you get overweight items, or you need truck shipping, or you need curbside, oh my gosh, the prices just go up and up and up. And, they could solve this easily if they had, ship to store, or if they had buy online and pick up in store. And they don't. They don't have that. Will they have it at some point? Maybe. Honestly, their computer system seems to be a bit outdated. I know that they've been working on it. We finally got the online inventory, so you can actually see if an item is in store, allegedly. Everyone else is getting these options. Of course, you saw how my example with Home Depot went. Anyway, it'd be nice to see Harbor Freight implement them and maybe even do it better than everyone else. All right, we talked about the coupons. I was happy to see the monthly coupons go away, and I've said this time and time again. But the 20% off coupon, that was one of those kind of back pocket kind of things. I rarely went in with the idea of, oh my gosh, I'm going to go buy this one item and use the 20% off coupon. At least since they got rid of they got the exclusion covering all the central machinery stuff, like the drill presses and all the big shop tools. But it was still great for a lot of the little stuff around there, and I thought it was still pretty useful. I know a lot of you, and I've given a lot of you, a hard time since then, because you were the same people who were like, the 20% off coupon is worthless, and then because of all the exclusions, and then the 20% coupon went away, and now you're like, I'll never shop there again because they got rid of the 20% off coupon. I'm sorry, I do, you deserve to get a little bit of griefing over that. But the fact of the matter is, also for Harbor Freight, this was a great thing for many of us. We go to buy one product, and we're like, oh, I can pick up some other stuff, and I'll get some additional savings on this. Yes, they are coming out with them from time to time, but having them out there pretty much consistently was a great option for a lot of us. Next up is the free items. Now, I talked about this a little bit before, but it used to be, back in the day, it was, you could just go in and get a free item. No purchase necessary. I know I had stacks of tarps. Stacks and stacks of tarps. There was a Harbor Freight on my way home from work. I would just stop, 3 or 4 times a week and get a free tarp. And then my neighbors knew that I was the guy with the free tarps, and all my tarps are gone. Anyway, yeah, the tape measure and the batteries were a joke. The microfiber cloths were nice. The screwdrivers were worthless. The flashlight was worthless. That little blue flashlight, that was kind of, especially once they switched it to LED, that had some usefulness. The magnetic tool holder there, that was pretty good. Of course, my favorite has always been, let me zoom in on it, the magnetic parts dish. I have these all over the shop for all sorts of uses. But, they say a $6 value. I don't think anyone ever paid $6 for one of these. So yes, I do prefer the new free items, but for a lot of us who also like picking up the smaller free stuff, it's a shame that went away. All right, now we got to talk about, that's the bad. We talked about the good, we talked about the bad. Now let's get into some of the ugly, okay? Job training. Harbor Freight, you got to do a better job with training your employees. Oh my gosh, so many times I've gone in there and the employees have no clue what's going on. Now, a lot of stores, they do. They've got store managers or regional managers who do their job, but a lot of stores don't. And it takes forever when new policies and stuff roll out for them to get caught up. I know because I have people who work at Harbor Freight in the stores commenting on my videos and emailing me saying, thank you for what you do. I have no idea about our tools, and people that I work with told me that I have to watch the bear so I can learn about your tools, for our own tools. When your employees are coming to me for their product training, at least buy some merch, right? Because you got to support the channel a bit more. Anyway, I kid, the bear kids, but the fact of the matter is, they need better training, and I don't know. I can give you ideas on how to do it. You got my number. Give me a call. But that needs to get fixed because you're doing a disservice to your employees. You're doing a disservice to the people who shop there. All right, now we got to talk about some of the tool lines here. The earthquake line. Recently, we find out that they're going to be dropping support for the 12-volt system here. That's no surprise to any of us because they only had, what, 2 tools for it? There was a ratchet. They're decent tools, but they never expanded the line. And now I'm sitting here looking at the actual earthquake line. This was one of the first lines they came out with. And when they came out with it, it was a game changer. It was, a good, solid impact driver that, you could get at an affordable price, almost half the price of other similar impacts that were out there. I knew pros who used these daily and swore by them and couldn't believe what you could get for the price. Well, that was 5 years ago or so. And this industry does not sit back and wait. And a lot of this has changed. And now these are getting pretty outdated compared to, we got a lot of the bigger tier brands out there coming out with tools that will do better than these at the same price, if not better, sometimes when they're on sale. I got to feel at some point that they're going to ditch the earthquake line. If we see here, yeah, the 12 volt's gone away, but the grease gun they just came out with is on clearance. The grinder, they had the only brushless tool they had for a long time. It's on clearance. I'm worried about earthquake, and I can't see it lasting much longer. I know they're coming out with great stuff for Hercules, and maybe that's what they're going. Maybe their plan is to switch over to Hercules, but then what do you do for the guys who bought into Earthquake? Well, the good news is you can go buy the AC Delco batteries because they're the same thing. That said, Lynx, man, you guys did some people wrong with Lynx. There's just no two ways about it, and the bear can't candy coat it. This was, again, one of the new lines. As Harbor Freight was transitioning between the old Harbor Freight and the new Harbor Freight, I get it. I totally understand, all right? It's a hard thing to do, and you were testing the waters and whatnot. And Lynx was your first 40-volt system there. We got, there were some decent tools out there. They weren't the best tools, but they were decent, and a lot of people bought into that. And now, what are they going to do? They got a bunch of tools that they can't buy batteries for. There's no AC Delco. Now, Lithelli, as I mentioned before, it's essentially the same line, slightly modified. The batteries, Lithelli called me and tried to get me to do a video saying that you can't use their batteries in the Lynx system. And I'm going to reiterate here. If you do, in most cases, it's going to require a modification to the size of the case. Basically, take the bottom of the case, put it on a belt sander for 10 seconds. It just needs to be a little bit slimmer. I've used these batteries, or the Lithelli batteries, in the Lynx stuff, and they do work. And I'm sorry if Lithelli doesn't like it. They tried to get me to sign a contract saying that I wouldn't sell a bunch of stuff. No, we don't do that here. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, Harbor Freight, you did people wrong. You should have offered a trade-in program to upgrade people to the new Atlas line at the very least. I'm disappointed in the way you handled it, because you didn't even say anything. All right, it wasn't like you didn't have any connections with the community. That's one of the good things about Harbor Freight, unlike a lot of other stores, is they actively work to connect with the YouTube and online community, which makes them more accessible, but also makes this kind of thing more egregious. You had lines of communication and you didn't use them, so I got to call foul on that one. All right, let's talk about recalls. They've had some big recalls. We had the electric chainsaws that didn't turn off. That can put a scare in you. Granted, the cord's right there. It's a foot away from you, and probably not a big deal, but it's a chainsaw, guys and gals. It should turn off when you let go of the switch. And let's talk about the jack stands. the jack stands, that was a big deal. That was a huge, massive recall. Now, as if you remember, if I saw the video I did on jack stands, my guess is this came from the same company as a lot of other jack stands, and I'm surprised we haven't seen recalls from other companies with these same jack stands, because they look the same to me. I'm guessing they came out of the same factory. But that said, that was a big deal, but Harbor Freight did the right thing there. They got on top of it, got the news out, and those things got recalled. This one, though, what is going on? All right, Icon, that was a big product launch when you came out with the Icon tools, and that's fantastic. And I fully support, the competition and upping the quality of the tools, and I've been very happy with the Icon tools so far. This is the 3/4 flex head ratchet, and it had an issue where if you overloaded it, it could bind up the ratchet. Now, it wasn't much of a deal because all you did was reverse the direction one click and it would unlock it. So, but Harbor Freight stepped up and said, you know what? We want Icon to be top notch, no problems. So we're going to offer a recall. If you bring this ratchet in, we'll exchange it for any other Icon ratchet that we have. And when the new ratchet comes out, you'll get one of those for free. And then they didn't tell anybody in the stores that this was going on or put in place any kind of system to handle this. You go in, when they finally figured it out, you exchange your ratchet. They didn't take down your phone number. They didn't write anything. How do they know? How are they going to know who's supposed to get one of these new replacement ratchets? And on top of that, where's the ratchet? It's been a year and a half and there's no communication. I say again, you've got lines of communication. It's fantastic, but it doesn't leave you an excuse when you don't use them. That's an epic level fail. So anyway, there you go. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just so you know, I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, you were too hard on this or you were too easy on this. I've been tracking Harbor Freight sales and products and reviews this is the oldest video I have on it, June 1st, 2016. That's 5 years ago, guys and gals. I've been doing this for 5 years on the weekly basis, covering the sales coming out of Harbor Freight, reviewing the products, and staying up to date on the company with what they're doing. Trust me, I follow the prices. I follow what's been going on. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you're sponsored by Harbor Freight. Not sponsored by Harbor Freight. 2 years ago, they reached out to me because they'd seen the stuff that I'd done previously, and they saw that I was fair about the tools and what was there. And honestly, I've had conversations with people that work there, and when I say negative things about the tools, they're like, "Yep, we know we got a problem with that one, and at some point it's going to get addressed, but we got a lot going on." They know they've got issues. They're not sitting there trying to lie and tell you that all their tools are perfect. No one's ever saying that. But the fact of the matter is, they've done a lot for the community, a lot for the tool community. They've given access for a lot of people to get some great tools. But, every company, at some point falls down on some items. So hopefully they'll get back up pretty quick with those and we can see them move forward to even better heights than we've seen so far. Anyway, if you think the bear missed out on anything, comment down below. By the way, while you're down there, don't forget to chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe, and ring the bell. That's all this Tool Bear has for you today. You all take care, God bless, and as always, shine on.